Alright, so we're back, and as I said, all I did was put on kind of the black around the rim of this eye over here. But now we're going to do the pupil and stuff, and as I said before, that yeah, this might look like Young Link to start, but it's definitely not going to by the end, because you'll kind of see. It's just kind of that building up of the process, that he looks like it, but then once we put on all the stuff, he definitely will not look like Young Link, so don't worry there. Alright, so now this eye, I kind of was doing it like this, so this eye kind of be like this, kind of looking at you more so, even if it is kind of from the side, like that. And I guess this is a little easier than I thought. I just thought that maybe because I put on the first pupil kind of at an angle, this one would be a little harder, but not really. Keep in mind that depth factor, though. I feel like I actually used too much blue, so, or maybe, maybe not. Make sure you don't smudge the black. Alright, like that. I gotta use a little less black, especially considering the white. And then some white. And, oh, the white is actually right kind of like that. So if you're looking at it from the side, it's like that. Alright, cool. So this is, I'm going to actually just redo the eyebrow a little bit, but it's going to be a lot easier now. I just kind of want to put some more clay because it kind of got lost. Alright, like that. Cool. So this is our Link as he stands right now. Well, before I get into kind of the detailing, let's do the nose and the mouth. So I got some more peach. Thinking if I'm going to extend his kind of chin area. I think I'm going to a little bit. So all you're kind of going to do, and I think I've demonstrated this before, is I'm just going to take some clay, start it at one end of his face, kind of wrap it around to the other, and just pinch it together with my fingers and a toothpick or whatever, just to kind of extend his chin and make his face a little bit longer, just so we have some more room to work with. And if you need to, just take some more and then just like do it again. I think that was also one of the reasons why he may have looked like Young Link, is because Young Link's face is kind of more, like chubby, I guess. So the fact that we're making Adult Link's face a bit longer helps in making him look like Adult Link. Alright. So, there's so many other things I want to do to his face and stuff, but I would rather just get through the entirety of the actual face, and then we'll go on to the detailing. But, alright. So the nose is going to be like this. Pinch one end and kind of push one end. That creates a triangle shape, and then just flatten that shape and kind of pinch it at the same end again, and you essentially got yourself a nose. Let me just kind of see, it's like that shape. So make sure it's not too big. I just wanted to kind of get the shape down. I feel like mine is actually a little bit too big. And what I want to do here, I'm going to put it right on the center of his face, but we're only going to connect it at one kind of side, because we're going to kind of push it over to the side, so it's not entirely forward, but it's so that it's at the side a little bit. So you can just use a toothpick or whatever. Just be careful of the face at this point, or the eyes, because it's really kind of fragile. I didn't mean to take it off. I just meant to kind of trim the front a little bit. But anyway, yeah. So all you're going to do is kind of push one side of the nose into the clay of his face. Being careful of the eyes once again. And you can even do the bottom too a little bit, kind of the bottom of his nose, just like that. And it's okay if this side isn't pushed in, because it was actually blocked by his eye a little bit, and that's okay because we're not really focused with that side. I just wanted to kind of take care of one side. So we got like that. And now, just because I'm really just I don't know, I just feel the need to. I'm just going to take a little piece of black clay and put it a little bit kind of close to where like a nostril would be. I don't know. Well, it's not. It's kind of a long shape. It just gives a really, really small amount of detail, but in some regard, I think it might make it look a little bit better if you can kind of do it right. If you think you'll just mess it up, then don't do it, because I've done this to clay models before, and it just looks like they have like a, I don't know, like something on the side of their nose. It really doesn't look right, but for this link, I'm kind of just gonna leave it like that, just a small little dot there. All right, cool. So now we're gonna do the mouth, which is rather simple, which is a thin black piece of clay. Trying to see how close. It's pretty close to his nose. So I would say not so much right under his nose, but only a little bit down from his nose. I would say maybe right there. Maybe what's that? Maybe like 2 millimeters. I want to say. I'm not very good with kind of this on the spot guesstimation. You know how long stuff is, but I would say just a couple millimeters down from his nose, and then I'm going to add that little bump kind of underneath, which you don't want it to be. I just kind of grabbed that much, and it honestly looks as long as his mouth does, so you don't want that. Just a little bit. And I would put that more so on his chin, kind of like this. So this is what we got so far, and I'm glad that the face is done in its entirety at this point, so I can make some changes to some of these other features that actually some of them kind of got lost. All right, so not so much that we're going to change all the features up and stuff, but I just want to do a couple things. First off, I'm going to make the ears a little bit bigger and to the side more, because the artwork does have the ears kind of to the side. So you can do this kind of the same way, just a long shape, and then you can kind of work it around a toothpick to kind of get that little perforated ear shape. And I want to kind of do that, not so much point them up, but point them out. Just kind of be careful when you're laying them down, though, that it doesn't, nothing happens to the ear. Need more clay. I think that was one of the problems, is that, or why I'm redoing this, is because when I did them, I didn't use enough clay, and they kind of, when I pushed them down, they kind of squished in, especially he was in a bag for like a week or so, so the clay kind of got lost. And actually, now that I look at this, kind of what I'm doing here with the toothpick, with putting the clay around the toothpick, just pushing it around and then taking it out, it perforates it very nicely so that you can tell it's the inside of an ear. So I highly recommend kind of using that technique. And of course, you don't want kind of them to look too long like this. This looks kind of ridiculously long. So I'm going to shorten them, and I will point them up a little bit, but you don't want them like, up like that, like, no. Just kind of out to the side like that. That's pretty good. Still, I don't want them too long. I just worried about that. All right, now we're gonna fix kind of the hair on the side of his face, which we can kind of just put. It goes to about his neck, so we can kind of just squish that right in between the ear and stuff. And I'm trying to think of kind of the best way to do this, because it's hard, because it's always gonna kind of go to his face, because it doesn't really have anything to, just being suspended in like midair, it always seems like it's going to not just, yeah. But I guess if you can just put a little kind of bit of clay there, just a little bit. I'm trying to get enough, but not too much. And even if it kind of does go to his face, that's okay, because just the fact that you want his kind of little, I don't even know it, because they're not like sideburns, because they're not like on his face, but that little hair, just a little bit like that, I guess. Doesn't need to be a whole lot. And his neck actually isn't very long at this point. I don't know if it's going to get much longer. So just kind of push it in wherever you can find room in between the ear and his hair. So that's what's up with that. Again, being very gentle at this point, because he's, he has all kinds of stuff all over the place that could easily fall off. Next, we're gonna do his earrings. Does he have earrings on both ears? I think he does. I think he does. So, regardless if I am wrong and he only has it on one ear, then just make it on one ear. But I'm pretty sure he has it on both. So I'm kind of thinking back to like the manga, and I remember when I read that when he was getting his earrings. But then again, the manga is highly inaccurate from the games, so I probably wouldn't trust what the manga says. Anyway, just a small kind of piece like that, wrapped around kind of one end of the ear, and then into the other. I guess it would make sense to kind of put these as low as you can, not so much actually in the ear. It's just such a small kind of detailing part that, and it's probably at this point really hard to get in there. So we'll do that again. And really small where his ear is, kind of just, even if you can't really wrap it around, just make it look like it wraps around just enough. And then finally, what I want to do to his head is fix up his hat. So to do that, I'm just going to take some more green clay, you know, the one that stains your hands, so be cautious. And this probably was a bad idea to do after we kind of detailed the entirety of the face, but just naturally, very carefully, kind of get green clay and just put it on to the other green clay, and then very carefully with your hands, just try and kind of mush that together, you know, like this. Just get rid of all the seams and stuff, because I want his hat to be a little thicker, and it really wasn't beforehand. So kind of whatever you can use, I guess. Just make it look like, you know, it's kind of one piece. And amongst doing that, I kind of messed up one of his little kind of hair pieces. If the hair pieces just end up, you know, kind of going to his face, that's okay. Because there's not much we can really do about that. They're just so insignificant. But they do matter kind of being in there. And at least if we were to put them in there and then they don't really work out, we can at least say, hey, we put them in there. Alright, so with that said, I think this is the entirety of Link's head. We might kind of work on the neck a little bit later, but that'll come with the body, so... yeah, thanks for watching, and more parts soon.